Madini Mazimba.
Madini Mazimba.
Madini Mazimba.
Madini Mazimba, I'm back again, and today I'll be sharing with you my views and thoughts on Dr Oliver Mtukudzi's latest album titled Hany'Ga. So I'm quite surprised because Tuku is still releasing albums. The guy is over 63 albums to date to his name. 63 albums, there are a lot of albums. Many other artists want to touch the one album, but for Tuku, he has now more than 63 albums. I did a little research and found out even some of the biggest international artists, some of the icons, some of the legends, but not if you look at their career, Vashoma wakatombovhura 10 albums up to 63, so that's an amazing feat. I'm not really sure what's the Guinness record for the total amount of albums that a single artist has ever released, but I think Tuku is quite there among those people who are very much close not to just reaching that record, because 63 albums are no joke. And I was quite curious to see how come Tuku has so many albums. My albums are good. I did a little digging into his history. Then I realized on a number of years, Tuku released 3 albums in a single year. 3 albums. And like I said, a lot of other artists want to touch the one album, but someone was releasing 3 albums in a single year. And I'm quite sure with the people in those years, 5 albums, there are a few people who actually managed to listen to all of the albums on Chaga, maybe the best album between the 3, or those leading singles between all the albums. Because even up to now, you can still not another song ya Tuku yosingazive song album. That has been happening to me for quite some time now, and I think it has been happening to a lot of people. And that is because when he was releasing albums, he was releasing 3 albums, 2 albums, 3 albums. It was quite rare for him to release one album. That's why I feel as if he has a lot of classics. He has a lot of countless classics. Right now, he should just concentrate not on live performance. Albums. But he keeps on giving us some new albums. With the new albums, the trend that you get to see is that these albums are not really about the commercial. They're not really about topping the charts, about selling much. That it's more like Tuku just saying his mind, just not sharing his thoughts, his views on certain social aspects, certain social issues that affect a lot of Zimbos. So basically, I think that's why he keeps on releasing. When he has something to say, when he wants to say something, the best way he knows how to address the majority of Zimbos is through music. So he just goes into the studio and releases an album. Now, going into this album, I wasn't that much optimistic because I was not a fan of his last album. I just felt as if the album was below par. Did you compare the Tuku that I know? For me personally, ndakatanga kuzo like nyasotera Tuku during the late 90s. Pakatanga kuda those albums like Ananeria and 2000. Babuda my favorite album from Tuku, which is Paivepo. The last album I enjoyed from Tuku was Wonerai, which came out in 2006. After that, all the albums that came after that, for me, they're just a big no. It was just starting to go down with the quality, even the magic. That magic that I knew from Tuku. So going to this album, I wasn't that much enthusiastic. Now, I watched the first video that he launched. It was before or around the launch of this album, because the launch was very, very quiet. It was an intimate launch, with a couple of very, very few people. I don't know what noise like those billboards in the road. It was just a quiet launch with a few friends of his. Now, I first listened to the track, which is Asata Ziva, and listen to that track, you just get the feeling this track is just meant for those humanitarian purposes, those NGOs on the child marriages. It's one of those tracks personally, you won't even listen to the track where maybe driving or doing whatever. So it's one of those songs that I could the only time besides the first time you listen to the album, the only other time there are chance when you're going to listen to this track, Asata Ziva, is basically when you'll be watching those anti-child marriages campaigns, anti-child marriages awareness campaigns from different various NGOs. It's not really a track on a Sunday afternoon or maybe on that long drive. It does not really fit that criteria. Now, so going to this album, I was it just showed us. It just showed me a glimpse of what we're going to get the Tuku that we've been getting these past couple of years, and to a certain extent, that's quite true. So after listening to the album, I have to say it's slightly better than his previous album. On this track, there are a couple of tracks that I listen to and enjoy it. But am I going to put them on my playlist? Am I going to add those tracks on my, or any track from this album on my Tuku playlist? No, I'm not going to do that. The old Tuku is still much, much better. And now going to this album, you're going to see that right now people refer to Tuku as the granddad of local music. Now, as you listen to this album, you're going to see the perspective, the angles that he went with into these albums and the issues that he's tackling. He has fully embraced the granddad title that has been given to him. So we get tracks such as Bopoto on that track. He's just targeting at those people vekuti avakwanisi kugara nevamwe in harmony. Whenever they want to do anything, vanotokonzera Bopoto bongozozo every day. So it's just urging people to you can do whatever you want to do. You can go, you can move further in your life without causing havoc or without disturbing the next person, the person next to you, or without pulling the next person backwards. So he is explaining on this track with the use of the traditional fireplace. They cannot say we are the most important things on this fireplace because so it's just urging people we must try to coexist in unison. And we get on to other tracks such as Matope, where it's just basically talking about the decay that is happening in our society. There are certain things that there are certain things that kakura vanhu vachiita, and right now those things are chaite because our culture is now stained. Since the time of Farira, right now apply, right now Soiti, or they do not bring the same joy or the same values that they used to have. So it's also another lovely track. We get other tracks such as Uchatini, where is basically just saying in life on a number of things there is a certain procedure that has to be followed. Like as he is explaining in this track, because so it's just urging a lot of people in life we have to follow a certain procedure, because for a lot of things there are certain ways, there are certain procedures that we must follow at this level, this level. So arikuramba kamwe yake kukabira kamwe yake kudongomhanyira kumberi for those people vadangonzi they are the first, vadangonzi vari kumberi for everything, but it's saying you must respect the process of life, because ukasadaro tionozonyara at the end of the day. And he also continues on the track Mahara, where he's basically saying hakuna chemahara in this life. Now we must know there is no such thing as a free thing, because most of the people munozopinda into sort of an addiction or sort of a modern slavery because mango jaira chemahara. So he's just urging a lot of people hakuna chemahara. We must not be lazy, we must be able to work for whatever chatinenge tichida. And also in that advisory kind of mode, we get the track Wanza Sorry. As I was listening to this track, you can just see this track was definitely aimed not at Grace Mugabe, because everything that Tuku is talking about in this track, with respect, is not given unto you because of the qualifications that you have, but it's given unto you because of your attitude. So you must have humility, you must be a humble person for others to respect you. Just because maybe when a PhD, just because you have a degree, like you're better than everyone else. But as you listen to this track, like I said, you just feel as if although this track can be applied on a lot of situations, it was basically aimed at Grace Mugabe. And in a way, it's kind of ill-timed, because if this track came out last year in August, this would have been a massive track. But right now it's one of those tracks that but the impact, the effect that I believe the track would have had if it was released last year, I see people. And also Tuku also switched to a more gospel, gospel centered kind of message. When you have tracks such as this track just basically telling people we are going to be judged for the actions that we do. So we must try to live a very good life, because the Lord is going to judge each and everyone for the actions avakaita. Then another track is Inyasha, where it's just basically saying kurarama. Inyasha kusvika patashika pano inyasha is not because ndinogona, but it's just because of the grace of the Lord that is upon us. And also another track in that same category is the track Inombotanga Say, which is arguably my favorite track of this whole album. And on this track, Tuku is basically crying out to the Lord, saying, saying, when does the struggle start? When does poverty start? He's just saying, can you please inform us when it starts so that we can be better prepared? Because he's just tackling this song, from a perspective of a lot of us Zimbabweans, Africans, most of our lives, it's all struggle and poverty, So he's crying out to the Lord, just inform us when does it start, so that we can be much more informed and be better prepared, to tackle it. It's a very, very powerful song. The vocals, this, like I said, is arguably my favorite song on this whole album. It in a way reminded me of the old Tuku. The message, the singing, the production, all of it is done very, very well. And lastly, still on the themes that he tackled, he gave us a song, a celebratory kind of song, with the track Shiringinya. And this track basically is just saying, just let loose, enjoy, dance as you want, just enjoy the music and dance to the music. And this is mostly, I believe this is the track that's going to get a lot of airplay among all the other tracks on this album. The production, everything about the track, the arrangement, it just gets you into that party kind of mode. So most probably going to hear, this is the track you're going to hear on a lot of radio stations. Now next we go to to the performances on this album, and Tuku, he delivered his signature performance throughout the whole album. But my favorite performance from him was on the track Batanga Say, but throughout this album he delivered his signature Tuku performance. So if you have listened to a lot of Tuku albums, you definitely know what to expect in terms of vocal performance on this track. The backing vocalists, they also did quite well. So all in all, in terms of the performances, they're quite commendable on this album. And lastly, I'll go to the production of the album. And now Tuku is one of those guys who's now certain, who's now confident of his sound. He knows how he wants his music to sound like. So going to this album, in terms of production, you are not going to be disappointed. And I can second that in saying you will not be disappointed. The instrumental arrangement is done very well. The production is done very well. The overall feel, the overall sound and quality of the album is just on point. Now on tracks such as Mahara, Tuku tried to experiment a bit, and he left his Katekwe signature sound for this modern kind of Afro jazz, which is which is fused with some rumba elements. The track, however, sounds quite good. And also on the track Matope, the first track on the album, the instrumental is lively, it's up tempo, and it can get you dancing. On the track Shiringinya, it just takes us to that playful kind of Tuku. So in overall, the production is just done quite well. So yeah, that's it for this album, Hany'Ga. Just to summarize, in a short space, the themes are quite well tackled. There's something that you should expect from the granddad of local music. The performances, they're done quite well. Tuku delivered his signature performance. The production is also done quite well. Now, the only problem that you get from this album is that it's the same as his previous album, or any of his previous albums from these past 10 years, is that the magic that we were used to from Tuku is no longer there. Person at that spark, when he released the tracks, the albums such as Nava, Simba Itsoka, Pailepo, you could sing along to the whole album. You could listen to the album over and over again. But that magic, I see Sipo in his latest albums, and even in this album, Hamuna, that magic, that spark. It's one of those albums which you can listen to it, Buddha, you can enjoy it to quite an extent, but not after probably a week or a couple of days, you just revert back to the old Tuku. And lastly, for these guys such as Tuku, Mukanya, Macheso, for me, those are currently those three legends that have done a lot for the music industry. So at the end of their reviews, I'll not be doing the usual, the rating, the A, B, C, or poor. I'll just be telling you if I recommend or if I don't. And for this album, I recommend it. You will not be that impressed, but you will not be extremely disappointed with the album. You can listen to the album. And so yeah, I know a lot of you have managed to listen to the album. You can go on YouTube, you can find the tracks, Spotify, or just buy the album. I'll post a link below to where you can go and purchase the album. Now for those who have managed to listen to the album, just go in the comment section, tell me what you think about this album, tell me what's your favorite track on the album. After that, come back, like the video, subscribe to the channel. See you again next time.